I'm Kyle Morgan, the Scholarly Communications and Digital Scholarship Librarian at Cal Poly Humboldt, and this presentation is on extending publishing services to the local community. We branded our library publishing services as the Press at Cal Poly Humboldt. We are a full-service press, we have student-based operations, and are a training ground for students interested in publishing careers. We do our best to align with publishing industry standards, including using InDesign as our layout platform. We are a digital-only open access press, although we help our authors with print publishing facilitation, primarily through Amazon KDP and Ingram Spark. Authors control print royalty rights, although many donate those royalties back to the press. There are a lot of arguments against opening library publishing services to the community. The two most obvious are a lack of time and resources to bring on new work. We're funded by campus, so should we be doing anything that works outside the campus walls? You receive a lot of kinds of content when you're dealing with community publishing, which can make evaluating proposals challenging. And when you're trying to build community like we are, it's awkward to have to tell people no. But there are huge benefits to publishing community works. For students, there's expanded hands-on experiences. Again, we're a training ground for students, so we want them to experience the widest range of materials to develop their skills and resumes. Even if they're not going into the publishing industry, transferable skills such as author relations, project management, critical thinking, adapting and navigating to unfamiliar situations are all highly valuable. Authors have become mentors for students. They develop connections with their student leads and have written them letters of recommendation, given kudos to them in their acknowledgments and their talks, and even given direct gifts to students, which is really heartening to see. Since many of the projects that come in address social and environmental justice issues or deal directly with the students' field of study, students really engage with the community projects. We had one student who said in his reflection that his job at the press is what kept him in school. He went on to get his degree and came away with a stellar publishing experience and resume. Community publications bring community voices into the campus to the benefit of everyone. Besides the value of the open access works themselves, authors regularly speak at campus events and in classrooms to the benefit of all students. For the library, it means that everything we publish we can use in perpetuity. We don't own copyright, but we hold a license agreement for perpetual usage. Working with community authors also raises advocacy within the community in support of the library. I've spoken at events where our community authors have jumped in and touted our benefits to the whole audience, and many of our community publication proposals come through word of mouth. These authors have also donated frequently to the library. We launched a fundraising event earlier this year and raised $18,000 for the press. Not a bad result for a small library program in a rural community with limited local industry. Our authors even grant us royalties from their print sales, although this rarely amounts to too much. Our operations and publications align with the university purpose and vision statements. With libraries always looking for ways to justify their value on campus, this is just another way of doing that. Our publishing services allow the university to integrate into the community. It showcases that the university is of practical value to the community and supports their issues. Each download of a community work functions as a little advertisement for the university and the things we do here. Each download comes with a cover page with the university's, presses, and the author's name, and it promotes all of them across the globe. The diversity of these works reaches audience we would never get through academic publishing alone, and the high quality of the publications only helps the stature of the university. Half of the downloads come from within California, maybe even reaching our future students. We also do publishing projects with local grade schools and high schools, engaging them with positive, impactful experiences that they connect to the university. The community benefits, obviously, by getting access to professional publishing resources that they normally wouldn't have access to. We publish works based on value, not capitalistic potential, and so publish important voices that may not otherwise be heard. The press branding is an essential aspect of the publishing services. It amplifies their voice and affords their works more authority in the marketplace. Our search engine optimized open access platform improves their visibility and distribution efforts locally and globally. The nonprofits we work with receive royalties from their print sales, raising money for their causes. At the least, it raises their visibility and promotes local social and environmental justice efforts. The novel shown here, Far Less, is a 3-time fiction award winner about a high school student living with his unhoused family in a forest outside of town. The real-life basis of the story is the forest just outside our campus, where a large community of unhoused people live and struggle. The book tells the story of the student and his family in an empathetic way that really brings people into the issue of homelessness, creating a deeply emotional connection that an academic article may find difficult to do. Expanding library services into the community may seem like extraneous work, but a lot of academic libraries have already been doing and valuing this work in many ways. One of the more interesting comparisons is with special collections and how they've brought community researchers into the library, accept donations from community donors, showcase community efforts in exhibits, and facilitate community speakers on campus. They become real community ambassadors that benefit the library, university, students, and the community. And that's the kind of impact we are trying to model at the press. There are a lot of community publishing models in education, both within the curriculum and in extracurricular publishing programs, as well as in public libraries. Here are links to some of those amazing efforts. These are just a few of the hundreds, probably thousands of open publishing efforts that connect the community with education and libraries. Unfortunately, most of the programs offered in higher ed tend to be short-lived projects and lack professional publishing expertise. That's where the press can really serve a purpose in bringing in the experience and stability that library publishers have, so that the community and our higher ed colleagues can trust us to be there for them and to put their best foot forward. We do our best to promote our impact, but we're not really the best at this. We compile statistics and student testimonials. We inform authors about how they can market themselves, and in so doing, market us. This is a picture of our annual authors celebration event where we bring in community and campus authors to share out about their works. We usually draw about 50 to 60 people to these, and it's just one of the more inspiring author events on campus every year. We try our best to promote through local media, but that just depends on what grabs the media's interest. And then we promote through our annual catalog and pamphlets. We publish maybe about a book or journal publication from the community every month. Publishing is only about a third of what our scholarly communications office does. Community works involve a little under half of our total publishing workload, so about 10 to 15% of our operations. Almost all the cost is time and staffing, but we find these costs are well worth the return for what we're doing and achieving. We're always reaching out to folks for potential projects. This journal is from a writing contest among local grade, middle, and high schools. We reached out to them, set up a relationship, and took over layout and publication of the journal for them. The journal went from a semi-ragged layout and spiral-bound work to a professionally published book that parents can now order online. When they took a copy of this to their national conference, we got inquiries about doing this for all the contests in California. Obviously, we couldn't do that. Emeritus faculty are also folks to reach out to and are often working on passion projects. Their manuscripts are usually well put together and they tend to need very little editing. As far as additional labor, there are usually some folks in the library or on campus that like publishing work and will help out for the fun of it. We tap them mostly for editorial processes. Internships are a good way to get started in a fairly affordable way and to involve in students in the projects, especially if it's a cause close to their heart. This quote speaks to the global South and the systemic challenges that prevent them from equitable involvement in global scholarly communications. But when I read this, it made me think of the people in our own local community, people that don't have a venue to share out the longer narrative of what's going on in their lives and communities and the issues that they're facing. It feels good to work on these projects to empower our community. We're sharing voices that might never otherwise reach an audience and expanding their impact. The students that we employ feel good about it too. It feels like we're making a positive impact in our community. Let me know if you have any questions. You can also email me anytime. I love talking about this topic. So thank you for your time.